Hey guys, welcome back. Doing a little bit different content and format today, but I think it's worthwhile to discuss. So if you clicked on the thumbnail, it's not clickbait. I wanted to talk about the greatest threats in the Philippines, and one of them is going to surprise you, I think, and the one I really want to focus on in this video. I'll mention a couple of the other ones, but what I want to talk about mostly is rabies.
It's your birthday. We gon' party like it's your birthday. We gon' sip Bacardi like it's...
Yeah, the other things are threats. Obviously, we all know I've done videos on the women issue here and the various scams, and I'll do a lot more of those because I continue to hear crazy stories the more I interact with foreigners around the country and hear their crazy stories, so I'll share some of those. And one of the other ones, and I've seen this a lot here, on the thumbnail I had the alcohol tab there, and I've talked about this in other videos. I'm not much of a drinker, but I do notice a lot, and I'm not bashing drinking, but I do notice a lot of the expats here, I think it's boredom. So they hang out at the bars during the day and they just get drunk. And again, I'm not here to bash drinking, but it's something to be aware of because I just seen a video actually popped up on my feed in the past day or two about expats that come to the Philippines and then turn into alcoholics, actually, because they just get into that habit of going to the bar every day, pounding down beers and getting day drunk. So my advice would be, you guys are all big boys and girls, right? But you need a hobby here because you're not working, so you can get bored pretty fast. So that's why I got into motorcycles again. That's why I work out. That's why I do things and I travel and I explore things, and I try to get in a cycle of where I go do something about every week or every other week, even if it's little couple-hour trips on the motorcycle and go explore things and do stuff like that, diving, whatever it is you're into. But yeah, I really am going to avoid the getting day drunk on a regular basis. So that's just my advice. So, all right, having said all that, brings me to what I really wanted to talk about. And it seems like an odd thing maybe to talk about, especially if you're an American and you think, why are you doing a video on rabies? Well, apparently it's really prevalent here. And I'm going to talk about a lot of things that I read. I pulled up some different journal articles and things like that I'm going to kind of touch on. I'm going to try not to keep this too academic and too boring. And I've gotten this question a lot on other videos. I introduced myself as Dr. T. Am I a real doctor? Yes, I have a PhD, so I am a real doctor. I'm not a medical doctor. So the advice I'm giving you in this video is not medical advice, right? But what it does allow me to do is I can sift through these academic journal articles and absorb them real easily and give you the information that you guys need. So, all right. So rabies in the Philippines. I got to put my glasses on for this because I'm going to glance at some of these articles that I pulled up. Believe it or not, over 300 people die a year in the Philippines from rabies. 300. So just to put that into perspective, I look up the population of the Philippines. It's 115 million total population in the Philippines. Now compare that to the US that has a population of over 340 million. The US has virtually zero. I found some, and we'll talk about it. Virtually zero cases of rabies every year. People that actually die from rabies. And we'll get into why that is. So this one article I found, it's a little bit older, but it's for the National Institute of Health. It talks about there's over 362 Filipinos died of rabies, 321, this is yearly, 337, but it goes on and on and on. Over 10,000 dogs are believed to be infected with rabies in the entire country. Over 10,000, and my guess would be that number is actually much higher than that because they don't have an accurate way of tracking these things. Talks about the underlying problem is they don't have actually enough vaccines. There are only 42,000 doses of vaccine in the entire country, which is not nearly enough to immunize the dog population of over 7 million. So that's one of the issues. Two is the cost. of the vaccine for the dog. And the big issue that they have is the dogs obviously are unvaccinated, but there's no, in America, I can only speak for America because I know I've owned dogs and I know how things work in the US. So when you have a dog in the US, everybody takes it to the vet and they get their initial shots. And if you're getting it from an SPCA, like a boarding facility, they already automatically give the dog those shots. And if you're getting it from a breeder, they give them the shots. And if you have a litter of puppies at home, the respectable thing to do is take the dog to the vet and get it all its shots. And they give the dog a little tag and a collar that the dog has to wear. And if a stray dog is found in America without a vaccination ID, the dog can get impounded. Here, that doesn't happen. Like I talked about in other videos, it's actually one of the most annoying things about the Philippines, driving around and going to the beaches, is there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of stray dogs running everywhere. And a lot of them just look sickly, whether or not it's rabies, but just flea and infested and fur, half hanging off their body, just really, really sickly state of the animals here. So all that kind of works together and just makes this a real problem for the Philippines. So here's another article. I'm going to put screenshots of all these things at the end of it if you're feeling dorky like me and you like to look at some of this stuff sometimes. But this is another International Journal of Public Health I found. It's called Accessing 6 Decades of Rabies in the Philippines. And basically what they did was they looked at exactly that, the trend in rabies through the last 6 decades. And believe it or not, it's actually getting better, as startling as that is. It was much worse in the late 1990s and early 2000s. And then there's been a steady downward trend in the rabies. And I'm not really sure why that is. But the article does talk about, this article and another one that I found talks about that it's in all of the Philippines. So don't think that this is only in certain provinces, because it's not. Actually, I found another article that talks about most cases are in Manila, obviously because that's where the density of the population is, right? Of course, you're going to see higher prevalence of rabies because of the higher population density. But Palawan had a startlingly high number of rabies cases, and that's a small island. Bohol, it's where I'm living and doing this video from right now. So all the different islands in the Philippines. So this isn't isolated to any one geographic region either. And this is a brand new article, just came out in the news here. 89 human rabies cases in Q1 of 2024. Department of Health stated on Thursday, April 4th, 89 human rabies cases were recorded from January 1 to March 16th. This reflects a 2% decline, wildly enough. All the cases reported have ended in fatalities, 100%. I'm reading this from the article, 100% fatality rate. And that's why I wanted to talk about this, because one, like I said, the stray dog thing is really annoying. And two, I've seen 2 cases pop up in the past 2 weeks. I'll put a screenshot at the end of my dialogue here. One girl, she got bit by a stray dog and she hid it from her parents. She didn't want to tell the parents that she got bit because she didn't want anything to happen to the dog. She came on with the symptoms, fever, and I'll get to what the symptoms are here in a minute. She had the symptoms. They took her to the doctor, and the doctor said it's too far along. The disease is too progressed. There's nothing they can do about it. So, and that's actually true. I looked up the CDC, Center for Disease Control in America. I looked up some of their data. There's only been 20 recorded cases in all of human history where people have gotten the onset of the symptoms and not died. Because basically what they say is once you get the actual symptoms, death is then inevitable. So you have to get the vaccine immediately after being bitten. So that's one of the things. And that's one of the things that people, I think here are not aware of. And honestly, I I wasn't even aware that it was that paramount to get it that quickly either, actually. They say the onset of the symptoms varies greatly, actually, from weeks to months, believe it or not. And it depends, there's different strains of rabies, actually, and the location of the bite, and different things like that. So I'll come back to that, but I just wanted to compare that, like I said, to the US. So over 300 people are dying here a year from rabies. And this is the highest recorded deaths in America in over a decade. This is an article from the New York Times. 5 rabies deaths in 2021, highest number in over a decade. And these were from bats, actually. Vaccines taken before the symptoms appear nearly 100% effective. Still, rabies causes more than 59,000 deaths yearly. This is worldwide. So compare that, and there's been years in America where there's actually been 0 rabies deaths, and the rabies in America tends to come from bats, not from stray dogs. So just like I said, contrast those numbers. When you have anywhere from 0 to 3 fatalities in a year in the US with more than double the population, compare that to the Philippines, that is over 300, which has less than half the population. So obviously it's a big issue. And I tell you that because it's a big issue, honestly, that you need to be concerned about. Because like I said, the stray dogs are everywhere. And I was going to take videos out walking around, but it's been on some of my beach videos. Like I've been down on Alona Beach. Alona Beach is a crazy popular tourist destination. You can go down there any time of the day, any day of the week. You'll see 50 stray dogs down there. So, and a lot of people, you want to pet them because they're dogs, and you want to feed them because you feel bad for them. Like I said, they look sickly, and I just stay away from them because you don't want, maybe you're going to give it a little food and it's hungry and snaps at you, and just all it needs is one little drop of saliva to infect you. It doesn't have to be some nasty bite, right? It's not like a zombie attack, right? So it is something to be concerned about, and it is something, if you're Filipino watching this, you guys should really be on your local government to try and address this, because it's something that can be fixed, honestly. It's something that can be fixed. Like I said, you don't have to mirror what the US does, but it's relatively simple in that you make the dogs have vaccines, and they have to have collars with a vaccine date, etc. There's no dog catchers here either. Apparently they do have such a thing. People that go up and catch stray dogs and bring them to a facility, right? I've been here over 7 months. I've never seen one. I don't know where there's an SPCA. I don't know where there's anything like that. I've asked my girlfriend, and I've asked Filipinos that live here. Apparently there is some sort of government entity that does that. Whether or not they actually ever do it is probably, the answer would be overwhelmingly no. So again, you don't see that in America. You could drive around. It's really rare you're just going to see packs of stray dogs. I've never seen it in cities, just because they're everywhere here. So you can fix it with that. You can fix it with the vaccines. Obviously, having the vaccines for the dogs, enough of them in the country is a issue. And then having the awareness, the public awareness that when you get bitten, even the minor bite, you need to go immediately to a doctor and get the vaccine. So I'm going to pull that up here. I pulled that up on a website. Again, not medical advice, but just from what I've pulled up on some research that I found. If you're unvaccinated, meaning you've never gotten the rabies vaccine before in your life, you need 4 doses, 4 shots would be on the first day. The second shot would be 3 days thereafter, then 7 days, and then 14 days. And again, the quicker the better. So like if you got even like a little nip on your finger feeding a stray dog, and you can't wait, is the thing. That why it's almost 100% fatal here is because people wait. If you wait, well, let me just wait to see if I get sick. If you've waited that long to see if you get sick, you're going to die. Like that's what I found out in the research. Unless you're one of the freak 20 cases in all of world history that have not died from getting the rabies virus. So the symptoms after you have the onset, let's say you were dumb enough to not get the vaccine: fever, headache, anxiety, sore throat, cough, then followed by neurological degradation, aggression, convulsions, hallucinations, and fear of water, hyperphobia. And we all know what the symptoms for animals are, right? We've seen what Old Yeller, if you remember that old show. It's not a comedy, but foaming at the mouth, right? Those are the late onset of the symptoms in an animal. So yeah, and some of it, like I said, depends on the location, exposure to the site, how far it is from the brain, because it actually deteriorates, results in neurological, like I said, degradation, and that's ultimately you die. So the onset could be, like I said, I'm taking this is directly from the CDC. Time is from exposure to appearance of the symptoms in the incubation period may last for weeks to months. So you can't think, well, I got bit, a slight bite, and I didn't get any onset of symptoms in the 2 weeks, I'm probably safe. Because you can get the onset of the symptoms 2-3 months down the road. And then, like I said, once you get the symptoms, everything I found in every academic journal says once it gets to that point, there's no bringing it back. You can't go get all the vaccines and then hope you're going to recover, because it just doesn't work that way. So, all right, kind of short and kind of a depressing video, but like I said, if you're coming to the Philippines on either vacation or to live here, whatever, be aware. Like I said, don't, like the sign in the zoo, right? Don't feed the animals. I would kind of listen to that, right? And resist that temptation. And like I said, if you get bit, go see a doctor immediately, like literally that day. I wouldn't wait whatsoever, even to the next day. Better to be safe than sorry type of thing. So, all right, I hope that helps, a little awareness. And like I said, if you're Filipino, try to I don't know, get with your local governments. That's probably like talking to this table here, though, and see if there's something that can be done, maybe to even make it a little better, in this country as far as that goes. So, or like I said, if you're a dog owner, do your due diligence and get your own dog at least vaccinated. That's the least you can do. So, all right. Hope that helps. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.